Welcome to the Doktor O'Kay Show. I am Doktor O'Kay and this is SmackDown from New Orleans, Louisiana, where we just keep... let's just skip that and say the final boss is back. And that is all that matters, because just when you thought he was out, here he comes, and we're all right back in. Because first, The Rock announced that WrestleMania 42 will be in New Orleans for the first time since the incredible Yeselmania of WrestleMania 30, and then he decided to sing When the Saints Go Marching In, but he didn't like them joining in with him, so he told the crowd that they were an STD-loving trailer park trash crowd. So I don't know why you'd pick New Orleans for WrestleMania if that's what the city is full of. But hey, what do I know? I guess they at least will give them a lot of money. But then the final boss got down to business and he brought out Cody Rhodes, saying that they are now good friends since WrestleMania, which is what he said at the Netflix premiere, so I guess he wasn't lying there. And he also said that Rhodes is a great champion and somehow that their moms are now even great friends. But he made sure to point out that he is on the board for TKO, which owns WWE. And while The Rock doesn't own WWE, he said that he is the most powerful person. So when it got down to brass tacks, he said that he wants Rhodes to be his champion for whatever that means, but Rhodes was a little bit confused by that, so he retorted that he is the crowd's champion, and The Rock agreed with that, but then he started talking about something much bigger than that. And he said that if he becomes The Rock's champion, that will open the door for Rhodes and make every single dream of his come true. So The Rock said that he wants a brother and that Rhodes can be that brother. And he also gestured at Rhodes, saying the one thing that he wants more than anything in this world is that. And Rhodes interpreted that to be the undisputed WWE Championship, but The Rock said no, he doesn't want that title. He wants Cody Rhodes' soul. So we will see him in Toronto at the Chamber for Cody Rhodes to give his answer to The Rock for that question. But I guess we'll just have to find out exactly what he means and exactly how religious Cody is if he's willing to give him that soul or not. Well, the last time I checked, The Rock doesn't have the Undertaker's like powers to literally take his soul, so what could The Rock mean by this? And I have a feeling we'll discuss more about this later in the week. But for now, we need some more time to see exactly what The Rock is cooking. And I've got to say, somehow The Rock manages to be cool, to be weird, to be powerful, and to be awkward all at once. But all that matters is that finally The Rock has come back. And so for today, we will give that a double okay. So let's get to the matches and just keep rolling against the tide as Jimmy Uso stuns everyone, countering an Alabama slam into a roll-up to upset Drew McIntyre. So Jimmy is the ones, and he got back at Drew for last week and also had a nice super kick and spear combo, and he somehow reversed Drew's second Alabama slam, rolling against the tide in Bengal Bayou country, so he goes to 2-1-1 in one-on-one matches. But that means McIntyre is the twos, and even after dominating most of the match, including a really painful Alabama slam onto the steel steps, he then got caught in that second try. So since last WrestleMania, he is now below 500 in one-on-one matches at 5-6. And he's just 1-3 in his matches this year. And so as you would guess, McIntyre brutalized Jimmy after the match, and he had even set him up to claymore Jimmy's head up against the ring post, but fortunately for Jimmy, officials ran out to subdue McIntyre. But after McIntyre started to walk away, as you would probably guess as well, he ran right back into the ring and claymored Jimmy in the middle of that ring. And so, of course, McIntyre will pick up a fine for that attack. But I have to say this one was very slowly paced, which is simply not what you want in your opening match. And of course, we got a surprise win that we didn't expect, so this one gets a not okay. In our second match, we just keep wondering if Melo does Miz, because after Shinsuke Nakamura goes to ringside and Kinshasa's LA Knight, it was Miz and Hayes who somehow hit Truth with a skull-crushing finale first 40-18 move to pick up a win. So this unlikely duo of Miz and Melo is the ones after Miz put them together without Hayes' permission, but they didn't seem to have much synergy early on as Melo refused to tag in The Miz several times during this one. But in the end, when it mattered the most, they teamed up together and they're 1-0 in all tags. And that means R-Truth and Louisiana Knight are the twos, at least that's who Truth thought he was tagging with, calling Knight a local legend, but Truth also managed to tag in Miz once. And if only the Awesome Truth never broke up, I think that would still be working pretty well. And also, Truth also decided to be the ref at one point and count his own pin, even though no one was actually covering Hayes at the moment. Unless maybe it was little Jimmy who was covering Hayes. Nonetheless, Hayes still kicked out of that one, but this duo actually looked like the stronger team of the two, especially when Truth hit a suplex stunner and then almost finished off the 5 moves of doom before Hayes eventually wriggled out of the AA. So unfortunately for them, they do drop to 0-1 in all tags. Now with Nakamura's attack, that did cost Truth and Knight here, so Nakamura will get a fine, but we had 2 odd couples, and sometimes that has just a little beignet of dusting on it, so we'll give it an okay. Third, we just keep waiting for that definitive end, because after Nia pulls Candice out of the ring, Tiffany Stratton drop kicks Nia, and then Alabama slams Candice into the barricade, leading to the prettiest moonsault ever, so she gets her second win in 2 weeks. And that means Tiffy is the ones, and she and Trish will make sure the unstoppable force comes to a definitive end at the Elimination Chamber, or at least that's what she said before the match. But Tiffy did struggle for much of this match, maybe still injured a bit from Nia's domination last week. Nonetheless, she still was able to hit her nice handspring back elbow and a rolling senton and improves to 4-0 in one-on-one matches. But that means Candice is the twos, and even though she controlled most of this match and she worked on Tiffy's elbow to try to wear her out, she still is ice cold, losing 13 straight matches of any type and is 0-2 in one-on-one matches this year. And as you would imagine, Nia attacked Tiffy immediately after the match. But fortunately for Tiffy, Trish showed up yet again, and she helped Tiffy for a few moments. But when Candice recovered, she joined in, leading to Nia stacking them and annihilating both Tiffy and Trish at the same time. So Nia and Candice will get fines. And during the match, we actually had Charlotte walk to the announce table, but she didn't cause any waves during the match. And then when the match was over, she yet again stood over top Tiffy and she pointed at the WrestleMania sign. So good for Charlotte. Anyways, we missed the start of this one due to a commercial, and Tiffy mostly missed a moonsault to the floor. And we also had a period of really bad camera work when the screen inexplicably went black. And though even Candice had a pretty good effort, she yet again loses. And yeah, we had another post-match attack, so all of this put together is a little annoying, and we get a not okay. Up next, we just keep, well, I guess that didn't happen, because Raquel and Liv got the jump on Naomi and Bianca during their entrance, so we saw a Tejana Bomb and an Oblivion, and therefore the match was canceled. So Liv and Raquel have to get 1 week suspensions for that. But I think they'll be much more inclined to have their tag team title match on Monday. But for tonight, this of course gets a double not okay. Up next, we just keep waiting for a revelation as the Street Profits break up a tag team title match and take out not just DIY and Pretty Deadly, but also the Motor City Machine Guns, as Ford went up to the heavens and then he teamed up with Dawkins for the revelation on Chris Sabin, so they both will also pick up 1 week suspensions, causing a no contest in a title match. So we'll say DIY is the one simply for retaining the titles, as they attacked Pretty Deadly before the bell while they were still entering the ring, and then a second time right before the ref was really ready to ring the bell. So both of them will pick up fines, and this is already their second no contest, and they're just a weird record of 1-1-2 in traditional tags. So Pretty Deadly is the twos, as Montez Ford attacked Wilson first, so this one could have been declared a DQ win, but as usual, we checked with WWE and they gave this one a no contest. But the better question is, will Pretty Deadly get another chance, or was DIY's moment of silence correct? But for now, they're 1-2-1 in traditional tags. Well, we do love seeing the Street Profits fired up to a new level of tude, but perhaps they should just wait until after the match is over, so we have to give this one a double not okay. And in our main event, we just keep wondering how thick is their blood, because Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu seem to be on the same page until Fatu super kicks Sikoa in the mouth, leading to Strowman double freight training both Fatu and Tonga over the announce table, and then Damian Priest finishing it off with a South of Heaven chokeslam to Sikoa. So that means Priest and Strowman are the ones, and they teamed up just 1 week after they battled each other for the chamber, and it was effective enough as Strowman stopped Tonga from using a chair on him, and then Priest had a nice spinning heel kick and flatliner combo, and they go to 1-0 in all tags. And that means Sikoa and Fatu are the twos, as Fatu earlier in the night told Sikoa that if his Samoan spike on Tonga wasn't an accident, then Sikoa wouldn't be standing. But after that, they did go back to working together, and Fatu went back to his hip attacks on Strowman, but Strowman did boot Fatu away on the second attempt. So then later, after a Tonga distraction, Fatu yanked Priest's neck off of the rope, leading to a spinning solo. But they couldn't work the double team when Fatu ended up super kicking Sikoa, so they do drop to 1-2 overall as a duo, and just 0-1 in 2025. Now with Fatu losing 6 straight matches going back to Saturday night's main event, we're going to start worrying that Fatu maybe just isn't as good as we thought he was, so we have to give it a not okay. And with that, let's go beyond the mat for SmackDown, as we first had a Zelina Vega vignette. She said she never had it easy, and she has a fresh start and some things to prove, so we'll give her an okay. We also got a Charlotte vignette, and it was mostly a recap, but she did say she has a legacy that no one can touch, which is true, but we would like a little bit more here, Charlotte, so this gets a not okay. We also had an Alexa vignette, and she noted that she's already won the chamber and that she'll turn it into a playground of her own, and we're not sure if she was happy to be there or if she was very serious. And I also don't know who edited this one, because I think someone must have been tampering with it, because we did have some strange glitches and some other cuts in between. But since Alexa seems to want to be our friend, this gets a double okay. After Aldis booted Liv and Raquel from the arena for their actions, and those two laughed at him for doing that, it was Chelsea and Piper who came up to Aldis saying that they're ready to take Bianca and Naomi's place inside the chamber. But Aldis said no, those two are still going to be fine, but Chelsea will get a match on SmackDown next week, but he didn't give her any details, so I wonder who she'll be facing. And I will quickly note that it would be nice if all 4 of these segments weren't beyond the mat, but were instead inside the ring. Nonetheless, this one by itself does get an okay. And lastly, we had another KO video, this time not from inside his car, but instead he was creepily spying on Zayn and his family from outside Zayn's house. Ugh. Anyways, KO then asked what Zayn's family will do when Zayn can't provide for them anymore because Zayn is too proud and too selfish. Owens also admonished Zayn for making KO do this to him, saying that he'll never forgive him and that Zayn asked for this and that it is all Zayn's fault. Well, nonetheless, listen, KO, you definitely made some good points here. We will give that to you, but creeping on the guy's wife and kids, that's just one step too far here. And I say for the first time in a while, you're not actually going to get a double OK, but it was still pretty good. But for the creeping part, yeah, we're dropping you to a not okay. But of course, if you do have to do the rest of everything you said, so be it, because Zayn has earned a good whooping. Everything seemed to be thrown off early in this SmackDown because I think they threw in some commercial breaks early so that we wouldn't have to get to any during the final bosses segment. And I mean, you do have to do that. But just like the SportsZu compared whether championship matches or #1 contenders matches are better inside the chamber, you need to go right on over here to check those out. And if you do, just like anytime the final boss starts to cook on WWE, we will have to give this an okay.